Good day to everybody. Let's crack our sky. Today we're looking at our top fives for the ASX Exchange Traded Funds. We are taking our daily horizon view, and today is the 13th of the 3rd, 2009. Check out the action in the broader market. Today, down actually quite a lot, 1.28% to 26.48. We saw utilities, communication services, and consumer staples all get a little bit of a bump. So copper, iron ore, gold, silver, platinum, and some of the other oil stocks were up as well. So top 5 percentage rises. No surprises, GDX, MNRS, which is our gold miners related ETFs. We had PM Gold, which is our ETF that allows you to buy physical gold at the Perth Mint. Drug, that's our BetaShares Global Health Care ETF. And then Rent. Rent is a new one for me. That's the AMP Capital Global Property Securities Fund. That ETF invests in global listed real estate securities. The return's quite low, roughly 1.5% from memory, so not the best one to be investing in. There's better property security ETFs out there that are much higher return. Our top 5 percentage falls for the day. Overall, there was a little bit of down action for Asia. HJPN, that's an ETF that focuses on Japanese market, and then Asia is our Technology Tigers ETF, followed up by RARI, which is a new one for me. That's the Australian Responsible Investment ETF. So you're starting to see a little bit of a theme the last couple of days, these responsible ETFs popping up. That one just invests predominantly in ASX shares and trusts, obviously with an ethical bent. MBV, that's an ETF that focuses on the Australian banks. And QFN is very similar to BVB, and that focuses on the financial sector in the top 200 in the ASX. Top $5 rises. No surprises here. Metals heavy. So we had our physical palladium ETF, our physical basket of mixed metals. I'm not really sure what's actually in that one. I have to do some more research to work out what metals are actually in that precious metals basket. That was also, we had PT, so we also had our platinum, so platinum and palladium ETFs. GDX, which is one that we all know, is our VanEck Vectors gold miners. And ILB is a new one for me. I'm pretty sure that tracks government inflation. We've seen that one the last few days actually. So that one invests primarily in investment grade income securities for federal and state governments in Australia. So definitely the top 5 reflects the broader commodities movements on the market today, with commodities heavy ETF trading. So looking at our top 5 percentage falls, we had IKO, IJP, IVE, IHVV, and IAA. IKO is the iShares MSCI South Korea ETF. IJP is the iShares MSCI Japan Focus ETF. IVE is the iShares MSCI EAFE ETF, and that tracks markets in Europe, Australasia, and Far East. That looks like a bit of a mix of jurisdictions it chases. IHVV is our hedge version of the iShares S&P 500 ETF. Then we had up after that IAA, which is our iShares Asia 50, so that tracks the 50 biggest companies in Asia. So that sort of theme of Asia being down today, but no China-specific stocks that I can see. Our top 5 number of trades. So expecting, as usual, the large ETFs. And I'm not really seeing any major surprises. So we had VAS, which is the Vanguard Australia Shares Index, and that one tracks the ASX 300, followed up by STW. STW is the State Street Spider S&P ASX 200 ETF. IVV is the iShares S&P 500 ETF. Bit of a mind blank there. VGS is our Vanguard MSCI Index International Share, so that one just tracks the global index, so excluding Australia. NDQ is the Beta Shares and Nasdaq 100 ETF. So predominantly the big end of town, the ETF town. Top 5 for volume. I expect we're going to see some similar names as the previous slide. There's a bit more of a mix than I expected. So we had VAS, which is our S&P ASX 300 ETF from Vanguard. Then we had ETHI, so that's our Beta Shares Global Sustainability Leaders ETF. Of sustainability, ethical investing theme coming through a little today, followed up by NDQ, which featured in the highest trades in the slide before. That's a Nasdaq 100 tracking ETF. Then we had QOZ. We had that one is the Beta Shares FTSE RAFI Australia 200. Tracks the top 200 companies listed on the ASX as measured by their fundamental size. So that's a balanced ETF depending on their size. Then we had China New, so that's the VanEck Vectors New Economy ETF, tracking the newer plays in the Chinese market. Top 5 for value. Once again, expecting those larger ETFs, the very, very popular ones. We had VAS, IVV, STW, VGS, and AAA. VGS, we had $11.4 million worth go through today. That total fund has 1.34 billion invested in it. So just a recap, AAA is the Australian high yield interest cash ETF. That's Beta Shares. No great surprises today. Definitely commodities were reflected in the ETFs that we saw today, and still getting quite a lot of volume going through for the big guys. So that's about it. So definitely all educational. So we want to be cracking our financial sky. We want to be educating ourselves to make good financial decisions. I think ETFs are going to be the way that a lot of people invest in the future, as opposed to investing heavily in direct shares. I think it's something to come to grips with early on and work out what's moving through the market and where's the best place to put your money. Thanks. Subscribe and like and all that kind of stuff. Thanks.